Birds of a feather truly flock together, and when you play this deck, you too will understand that meaning. What's up, guys? It's Max Clausen, and today I'm going to be bringing you my favorite deck profile of Floowandereeze, or Floowandereeze, however you want to pronounce it. I've played this deck literally since release, and it's a very fun, rogue, competitive deck. And when you play it, some of your friends and rivals will just sit there and spitefully look at you, but who cares? They're playing some stuff like Cash Terror or Runic or Sprite or whoever, what else. But we're going to be showing you guys the main extra inside, like I always do. And if you enjoy what you'll see, hit the subscribe button, hit a like for more, and we'll get right into it. Also, shout outs to my fake field center that I like to use, Levia Dragon. Oh. Alright, starting off with the monsters, we have 1 Snarl, 2 Empen, 3 Eaglin, the 1 Stree, the 3 Rabina, and the 1 Token. This is your entire Floowandereeze package. And, I hope that we get more support in the future, because this deck really needs it ever since we lost Barrier Statue. And we have look at this, guys. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 main deck monsters. Like, what kind of anime deck are we running here? Anyway, let's off with their effects. Snarl is an addition we put in ever since we lost the Barrier Statue. Its effect is that on your turn, you can conduct up to 3 extra normal summons, and it can banish a card in your hand to Book of Eclipse your opponent's entire field of special summon monsters. And while it's face up on the field, all your winged beasts do piercing battle damage. So just him, 2 Empens, and another big bird, and that's just game pretty much half the time. Speaking of Empen, we run 2 of that, and his effect is on normal summon, he can add a Floowandereeze spell or trap card from your deck to your hand. And his other continuous effect is that while he's face up on the field, any opponent's monster special summon in attack position cannot activate their effects. So they have to forcefully summon their stuff just in defense mode. And that wrecks a lot of players because, you can't attack when you're in defense mode unless you're super heavy samurais, which I haven't fought that deck, but I'm pretty sure this deck has a very hard and or bad matchup against it. Its other effect is that when it battles an opponent's monster, you can banish a card in your hand and damage calculation, and then have that opponent's stats. So if it's being attacked or it's attacking, you can just banish a card, half your stats beat over. Next up, we have the Eaglin. Eaglin is your Stratos for your big birds on normal summon, and all of your little Floowandereeze share the effect that when a winged beast is summoned to your side of the field, you can activate the effect from the banish zone to add them back to your hand. All of them have 2 different effects, and each effect is once per turn. But they help to chain block because these 2, as you can see, the 3 of them are the most important. Stree is your DD Crow / Call by the Grave. Doesn't negate their effect, but if they need an important card in the graveyard at a certain time, you can just summon this, banish it, and I don't have to deal with it later. Rabina is your Stratos for all of your little birds, level 4 or lower. And Token helps recover your banished Floowandereeze cards, being the birds, the spells, the traps, whatever. He helps to get the grind game going out, pretty much. That's it for the Floowandereeze monsters. Now for the other birds we do play. I do play the 1 Riser, the 1 Miss Valley, and the 1 Harpy Harpers. I do really want to bump this card up to 2, just so I can see her just a little bit more, because her effect is, the bouncing effect is pretty good, but it's the other reason I play her, and you'll see later on in this deck why. But anyway, Riser's effect on normal summon, you can bounce cards from the field and graveyard, and if you tribute summon him using a wind monster, he can bounce an additional card from the field back to the hand. So 2 cards one card on the field, 1 card in the graveyard, go back to the top of the deck, while another card can go back to the player's hand. Miss Valley is just the negation on legs or wings. And Harpy Harpist, she can bounce stuff, as I did say. And during the end phase, if she's in the graveyard, you can add a level 4 Wing Beast monster with 15 or 1700 attack. Yeah, 1500 or less attack, but it has to be level 4, so it doesn't really come up a lot. It did come up before when we had the barrier statue, but RIP to him. Also, apologies, my voice is just a little stuffed up. I hate the cold. Next up, for our spell cards, we play 3 of the Magnificent Map, 3 Advent of Adventure, and I actually play 2 Unexplored Winds. Magnificent Map is one of your key cards of the deck. When your opponent normal summons a monster, you can immediately after that they do that normal summon a level 4 lower wing beast from your hand. Or is it wing beast, or does it have to be Floowandereeze? He summons a Floowandereeze monster. Whew, I thought it was a wing beast. I'm crazy. Summons a Floowandereeze, get your effect started, but the other effect is that you can reveal a level 1 Floowandereeze monster, level 1 Floowandereeze from your hand, banish a Floowandereeze card, and then immediately normal summon the revealed monster, giving you basically an additional normal summon for the turn. Advent of Adventure is a very much needed quick play spell, and I do hope we get a lot more support for this deck in case of monsters, spells, and traps. The quick play spell, you can banish a Wing Beast monster from your hand or field, add the Floowandereeze field spell or a Floowandereeze monster, and then immediately after the resolution, gain 500 life points. So this also helps a little bit in the grind game just to get your life points up in your opponent, especially in cases of when time is called. And this card is very important for this deck. This card, you can reveal up to 2 Wing Beasts in your hand, put them at the bottom of your deck, and then draw the same amount that you revealed. It's obviously the max is 2. It would have been crazier if it was more. But the other important effect, and I'm pretty sure it gets over Masker Restrict. I am not sure, so you guys can comment down below. But this card says if you would tribute summon a monster using 2 tributes, you can send 1 card from each side of the from your opponent's side of the field to the graveyard as if using it as a tribute summon. So it gets over things like skill drain, Masker Restrict, I believe. What other things? Anti-spell fragrance, like things like that will slow down this deck. So it's very important. I'm glad I bumped this up to 2 because there are times when I want to search it, but I want to get the trap card, but then this will help me. So running 2, I can see it a little bit more often than I do, and then just, go for the trap card. For the other spells, bear with me on this ratio of them. I'm playing 2 Pot of Prosperity, 2 Dark Ruler No More, 2 Raigeki, and fresh out of Cyberstorm Access, 2 Time Tearing Morganite. God, this card is insane. I play this ratio because there have been many times where I see 2 pots in my hand, or have 2 Raigekis in my hand, or drew 2 Morganites, and then I use an effect to draw, and then I see a third one. I'm just like, man, this all could have been my engine, my deck that I need to go on and play. And I lose duels because of that. So I bumped all these down to 2. So if I see them, I see them. If I don't, I don't. That's the game. It's a whole bunch of Russian roulette. So anyway, Pot of Prosperity is very good for this deck. Since we don't go into the extra deck like that, banish whatever 3 to 6, excavate that many cards, add 1 to your hand. For the rest of the turn, your opponent will take half damage, but it doesn't matter. You want to see your engine, your combo pieces, whatever. Dark Ruler, just to keep our opponent from interrupting our turn as much as we can. Raigeki is also here for that because, turns off their negates. So activate Raigeki. Alright, your fear's gone. Really self-explanatory. And Time Tearing Morganite. Man, this card is so good. I really recommend you guys picking up a playset of this. Going down the line, I'm very positive people will see how crazy this card is in most decks, and then it'll just jump up in price. So its effects are, when you activate this, Apply all of these effects for the rest of the duel. And keep in mind, they cannot ash this. For the rest of the duel, you cannot activate hand monster effects from the hand. As you may have noticed, we don't play any hand traps anymore in this deck because with this card we can't activate them. So, but as much as a sad thing that is, it does have two other good effects. In your draw phase, you can draw 2 cards instead of the normal 1. And you can conduct up to 2 normal summons instead of just 1. So that already gives us, just with the field spell along with this, just 3 normal summons off rip, like as if we had Snarl on the field. And it has a grave effect. You can banish this card, send another copy of it to the graveyard. This turn, your opponent cannot activate any monster effects when you normal summon a monster. That's ridiculous. That means I can just, alright, normal summon Rabina, activate effect. You can't activate Ash against me. Or summon Eaglin, activate effect. Chain Toucan or Stree to add back. All of that is still happening during the normal summon, and they still cannot respond to it, which is ridiculous. Obviously, you can only use that effect one other time in this deck because, you can only run 3 copies of a card, so I mean, you can use it more, but I think that's just going a little too much. 2 is a perfect number for me. I see this card when I need to see it, and, if it'll win me the game at most times. For the trap lineup, prepare yourselves for this. We are main decking 3 evenly match, 3 infinite impermanence, 3 Harpy's Featherstorm, and the 1 Dreaming Town. All of this is literally, alright, I'm fine going first or second. If I go second, alright, cool, evenly match, or I can interrupt you with this. If I go first, alright, cool, I have a great chance of seeing this. Set it. Activate. Your turn is pretty much turned off. And this is just Dreaming Town. Evenly match, obviously, it's a Harpy Storm, Regeki all in one. Banishes everything but 1 face down. Imperm, Monster Negate. Since we can't activate something like Effect Veiler. Harpy's Featherstorm is just another big Effect Veiler or Infinite Impermanence for the rest of the turn everywhere. And Dreaming Town, activate this in the main phase. You can normal summon a Floowandereeze monster immediately after resolving this card. And then should you tribute summon a Wing Beast monster, you can banish this card, Book of Moon, the opponent's entire field. So it stops them from making link plays, XC, Synchro, whatever. It doesn't stop Fusion, but, or Ritual, but hey, you can't win them all. That is the main deck. That is a clean 40 cards. Now to the extra deck that we don't go into. We run 2 Elder Entity Entis and 1 Garura. There's a reason, obviously, of why I'm playing these certain cards, and you'll see that in the extra deck. Comment down below if you already knew what it was. I play the 2 Pegasus, the Lyrillus Promenade Thrust, and the Assembled Nightingale, the 2 Downer Magicians, the 2 AA Zeus, and for the niche moments where I could make them, the 1 Relinquish Anima, the 1 Link Karibo, the 1 Fairy G, and the 1 Harpy Conductor, which you can use this in conjunction with your Advent of Adventure by banishing it. That was the play back then when Mystic Mind was a thing, but I think it's still a good card to have because this also allows you to activate your Featherstorm because you just have to have a Harpy on the field. That is it for the main deck and extra deck. And now let me show you guys the spicy side deck. For the side deck, pretty sure you already saw the Dark Simorgh. It's a searchable monster that's pretty much a floodgate. While he's on the field, your opponent cannot set spell and trap cards, and you can hard summon it by banishing a Dark and a Wind monster from your hand, from the graveyard, which is fine because our Dark monster of choice is Vanity's Fiend. Should I happen to go first in this deck, I will just try my hardest to summon Vanity's Fiend, and if they have to have the out of Dark Ruler or Dark Hole or Regeki or Infinite Impermanence, or you just lose if your deck is special summon heavy. And you see my boy on the thumbnail, I run the 1 Neospatian Air Hummingbird. This is a very cute card. I've seen this tech and I was like, yo, that's cool. He's a wing beast. I can search. I can normal summon and get life points if we go into game 3 or game 2 and the time is called. It's just does it all. Just get yourself a play. Just get yourself a copy of Air Hummingbird. Even if you don't play him in this deck, just look at him. Look, my guy, he has so much suave. I love this bird. One of my favorite Neospatians. Next up, we play the 2 Ultimate Slayer. If you haven't gotten yourself a playset of this, I am so sorry, but maybe it's a little down in price. But Ultimate Slayer, you can send one card type of monster, be it Fusion, XC, Synchro, or Link, from your extra deck to the graveyard. Target an opponent's monster of that same type, and send it back to the deck or hand. The best part is, the monster type you send cannot be responded to with this effect. So say they have an XC that had an effect that can negate this. They can't activate it. I do play the Monarch Storeforth just to help get like Vanity's Fiend on the field or one of my big birds if I don't have the continuous spell. I would change this out for something else, but I'm not sure. But this is just a little thing I just want to throw in here. It just helps up with the theme. I have the 2 Book of Moon just to get something face down and help with that. The 1 Harpy's Feather Duster. And it's a combo with Darts and Morgue, the anti-spell. This and this just says game over to Purely in this upcoming format, or this new format that we're in now. Because, you can't set spell cards and you can't even activate them. So what are you going to do? Just sit there, set a card, and cry. And the 2 Rivalry of Warlords, because, this entire deck mainly is Wing Beasts. But that is it for my deck profile of Floowandereeze. Let me know what you guys think about it. If there are any changes you would make to the deck, anything you would side or main deck instead of my choices. Remember, deck profiles are always about personal preferences and choices and adapting to what's new in the meta and such, so on and such. I'm always open to creative criticism. Just don't be too judgmental or like too nasty or whatever. We're all just in the same game, playing for fun, trying to get better. Oh, so on and so forth, all that jazz. But anyway, I hope you all really enjoyed this profile. I'll be back with another one very soon. And we will see you all in the next video. See you later.